What's up, you guys? Slim here, SlimXTeamSymmetry, here with my first attempt, I guess, at Yu-Gi-Oh! Psychology. This has been done before, of course, by channels like, my good homie 3Z Inferno. A lot of other channels have done it. And basically, it's segments where you talk about, different strategies and, I guess, like, motives when you're playing, about, kind of outsmarting, outwitting your opponent, and, basing your plays off of, maybe your opponent's facial expressions, the way they're, conducting their plays, what's in their graveyard, just little things like that. And, I'm attempting to do this because I actually did get quite a few requests about it. I got inbox messages, I even got messaged on Facebook about it, and asked if I would, attempt it, since they like those segments from other channels, and they kind of wanted to see, Slim, what's your take on all of this. Now, I'll be straight up, I probably will not have as good a content when it comes to that as, Wilson or someone who knows a lot about psychology, but, I will give it my best attempt. Let me know what you guys think. We're going to start with what I call a strategy that I use sometimes when I'm playing that's actually been taught to me and by a lot of other players, and it's basically what I call it's balls to the walls, go for game. And basically what that means is sometimes you're in situations where, examples would be, your life points are low, you may have ran out of resources, you may have pot of avarice and have like no other play, and that your only play is to go for game. And it could be that your opponent has no monsters, on the field, but they have back row, and you just have to make that push for game. And the only example that I can do right now, because I only have one deck on me, is the one involving Dino Rabbit. Now, I know a lot of people don't like Dino Rabbit, and they think the decks, overpower, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I totally understand. I totally agree. But, this is the only deck I had on me. If I had more, I would do it, if you guys like this segment, I'll do it with Dark World, I'll do it with Malefic, Gravekeeper, whatever it is, for psychology purposes. But this is just, my mentality when playing Dino Rabbit, and making that that push for game. And you can relate it pretty much to any deck depending on the situation. Okay, so for this one, we're gonna do the basics. You've banished the bunny and you've made Lagia thanks to red guy number 2. Most basic play Rabbit has. You've made your Solemn Judgment. Now, say your opponent, hasn't drawn that well, or say you're at towards the end of the game, and like, I don't know, you have like a couple cards in hand, say they're really nutty, say you had the Rabbit, and you made the Lagia. Now, a lot of cards that can stop you, from going off, the next turn can be, of course, the ones I've highlighted, you got your Warning, the Brigade, the Torrential, Fiendish Chain, just things that can really, hinder your next turn's play. Now, say you're in a situation where your life points are really low, and, if you don't make this push now for game, your opponent's going to, draw for their turn and then go off on you, and most likely you'll lose. Now, with this situation, this is something that actually happened to me at my last regional, and it was where I had Lagia on board, and my opponent had, I can't remember exactly, it was either, I think it was like 2 back row. Now, I didn't know what the 2 back row were, but I figured, okay, I have a Lagia, I can stop one of them. Now, a lot of people probably think the same thing. Now, we're going to say it's not these 2, obviously, but say it was like, I don't know, like the deadliest thing to Lagia can also be, a Torrential and a Fiendish Chain. I think they ended up being like a D Prison and something else, but this play was where I had, the Lagia on board, and my opponent was at like 78. I barely did any damage. It was not that great a game too, but this is basically what happened. I drew for my turn, and I drew the tour guide, and it was like, okay, how many cards are in my opponent's hand? I remembered he had 2 cards in hand. I thought, okay, the worst thing that could happen is, he has a Maxi or a Veiler, and, what do you do? So I said, screw it, I have a Lagia, let's go. So, I summoned Tour Guide, I activated. He drops Maxi, and it's like, okay, this is it, basically. My life points are low, I need to make a push for game. What would you do, basically? So I said, what, screw it, I'm either going to win this or I'm going to lose this. I summoned Tour Guide, brought out another guide, and, did the play. And, he's going to draw a good amount of cards, because of this play. And it basically got to the point where, all right, make the Leviair, detach, bring the bunny back, bring these guys to the board. Now, I remember, if I remember correctly, I had, the field like this, and, If you do the math, this is exactly 8,000. You know, 38 from these guys, 1824 is 8,000. That's exact game. I got to this situation, and I said, fuck it, attack with everything. He flips a deep prison, I negate with Lagia, everything goes through, and I won that game. Now, that was a lucky situation. Other situations, sometimes you're not so lucky. Sometimes, you know, you'll make that play, and you'll try to go for game, and your opponent will drop Gores. And when they drop the Gores, you might be able to kill the token, but then you have to deal with Gores, and Gores will just slowly start to knock things off, or whatever. And, you know, another situation is where you have to go balls to the walls, you're going to push for it. You know, what are the chances that your opponent's going to have Gores? And you have to take that into account, and sometimes, you, like I've said, you don't have a choice. Sometimes you just push with everything, and that's either going to win you the game or lose you the game. And if you don't make that push, you will lose next turn. Now, another play that, you know, of course, the safe play at this point would be, you know, these guys become, you know, Dolka, and then, you know, you push, but you don't have enough for an exact game. If your opponent hasn't taken damage, you don't have enough for exact game. You can deal quite a bit, but sometimes it's not enough. And sometimes you just have to say, fuck it, attack for game. And a lot of people do this. I've seen Wilson do it. He's done it with this deck when he's borrowed my deck. He's done it with other decks. A lot of people have done it, and sometimes you just don't have a choice. And that's basically what the point of all this is that sometimes you have to take that chance and go for game, or else you're going to lose regardless. Another thing I guess I can ask you is, do you want to lose, you know, by not making a push and then getting smacked up, or do you want to lose, or do you want to win, you know, just saying, screw it, this is all I got, and you make that one final push. This is all about making that final push for game if this situation calls for it. And you basically can tell, you look at your opponent, you look in the grave. I always stress that, look in your opponent's graveyard before you make a critical play, because that is always key. That can knock out a couple situations that they could do to, you know, come out of this. And like I said, it always depends on the field. It always depends on, you know, how many back row does your opponent have? Can you stop back row? You know, this can't stop counters, but if you push, it can negate like a D-Prison or a Mirror Force or something that could be a problem. And, you know, what are the chances that they're going to have, you know, a response to that can, you know, blow up your whole field? You know, you have to take that chance in this game, and that's, you know, a big part of this game is taking a chance and, you know, going for that win. Because if you wait too long with some of these decks, you will lose, and your opponent will gain enough advantage back and then be able to, you know, push for game themselves. So let me know what you guys think about this segment. This is my first attempt at it. I hope you guys like it. You know, please comment below. Please critique. I definitely need some criticism on this because, like I said, I'm new to, you know, trying to figure out, you know, like into the player's mind. Like I said in my other video, do you guys really want to know what's in my mind when I play? In this situation, it's just like, fuck it. Just go for game. Like, sometimes you don't have the choice, and that's basically what the point of this video was. So let me know what you guys think. I apologize that it had to be Dino Rabbit. I know a lot of people don't like Dino Rabbit, and I totally understand. Let me know what decks you want to see me do it with, and, you know, I will definitely, you know, supply the decks and supply them for the next video. Hope you guys like this. You know, thumbs up, comment below, please let me know what you guys think about these videos, and we'll see what happens. And if this becomes a regular segment, that would be awesome. That's all I gotta say, you guys. Thank you for watching.